So the last diversity technique what we are going to see is a spatial multiplexing technique. So spatial multiplexing technique we are going to have whatever is going to be the high data rate we are going to get, that high data rate stream is going to be divided into m parallel data streams. So where this m is going to be defined by the number of transmit antennas what we are going to use, and we are going to assume that the number of transmit antennas is always going to be less than or equivalent to the number of receive antennas. So here we are going to assume that we are going to 2 cross 2, that means that 2 transmit antennas and 2 receive antennas we are going to take. So here by using it, mainly why we go for spatial multiplexing is to increase the data rate. So here to increase the data rate we will be going for spatial multiplexing. When the two transmit antennas are going to transmit the signal, the same copy of the signal is going to be transmitted to both the antennas. So the receiver will receive both the signal, both the receivers will receive the same signal there. So here the received signal will be in turn processed, and the output will be as R0 is equal to S0 into G0 plus S1 into G1. R1, the second signal will be your S0 into G2 plus S1 into G3. So the main purpose is to increase the data rate. Here we have taken 2 cross 2, which is going to give twice the data rate there. So the four gains, whatever gain we are going to use, that gain should be known as the receiver there. So for that we are going to use an algorithm called a zero forcing algorithm. So in this we are going to have a R0 R1, the received signal is going to be taken as the gain into the transmitted signal. So G0 G1, G2 G3. So the gain of the first antenna, the two antennas is going to be G0 and G1, and for the second signal, for second antenna it is going to be your G2 and G3. So received signal S0 cap and S1 cap is equal to G power H, that is a Hermitian matrix into G inverse into G power Hermitian matrix into R0 R1. So what are the main characteristics of a spatial multiplexing is we need not have any bandwidth expansion is required, and a space-time equalization is going to be needed in the receiver there. So conventionally we assume that the number of receive antenna is going to be greater than or equivalent to the number of transmit antennas there. So the data streams, whatever data streams you are going to transmit, the data streams are going to be separated by the equalizer. And suppose if there is going to be any fading, that fading process of the spatial channels are going to be assumed as independent there. And we are going to take the actual MIMO channel here. So when I'm going to take the actual MIMO channel, the capacity is going to be, the MIMO channel capacity is going to be linearly increasing with the number of antennas, and it is going to be more precisely independent of the spatial channels there. So here alternative to a spatial diversity is nothing but going for multiplexing. So when I go for multiplexing, I should go for a diversity trade-off. So now we are going to see the introduction to spatial multiplexing. So spatial multiplexing, if the transmitter and the receiver both are going to have multiple antennas, then we can see that multiple parallel data streams are going to be transmitted between them. So when multiple parallel data streams are going to be transmitted, we are going to increase the data rate. So we are going to consider a system with NT transmit and NR receive antennas, which is going to be known as NT into NR spatial multiplexing. So here this gain transmit antennas and receive antennas is going to be directly proportional to the peak data rate. That is, the peak data rate is going to be proportional to minimum of NT comma NR. Now we are going to see what is the basic principle of a 2 cross 2 spatial multiplexing system. So now we are going to take the bits for transmission. Those bits are going to be modulated. After modulated, we are going to transmit the symbols. The transmitted symbols are going to be represented as x1 and x2, and this x1 and x2 are going to be mapped to the antennas, and after antenna mapping it is going to be transmitted. So x1 and x2 there. So here we are going to have H11. So H11 is your transmit your gain, that is the received signal is going to receive gain is going to be for the receiver 1 with transmit antenna 1. 1 2 means it is your receive antenna 1 from transmit antenna 2. So now when the received signals are going to be got after passing through the channels, we are going to estimate the channels there. So after channel estimation is going to be done, then we are going to do the symbol estimation there. So once the symbol estimation is done, I'm going to get the received symbols x1 cap and x2 cap, and these are going to be demodulated and we are going to get the received bits. So when the signal is going to be transmitted, or when the symbol is going to transmit to the receive antennas, by 4 separate radio paths we are going to have, and this received signals can be written as y1 is equal to h11 into x1 plus h12, because for the first antenna I am going to receive signal h11 x1 plus h12 x2 plus n1, and for y2 antenna it is going to be h21 x2 h21 x1 and plus h22 x2 plus n2, where x1 or x2 are going to be the symbols that are going to be sent from two transmit antennas. Y1 and Y2 are the signals that arrive at the two receive antennas. N1 and N2 are going to represent the received noise and interference. So Hij is going to be represent is going to express in which the transmitted symbols are attenuated. So when it is passing through the channel, how is the symbol going to be attenuated? It is represented by Hij as they travel to the receive antenna I from the transmit antenna J. So now we want to see that the capacity or how the maximum data rate is going to grow when the SNR is going to be large. So suppose when the SNR is going to be high, the spatial multiplexing is going to be optimal. When the SNR is going to be low, the capacity is going to be much smaller than at higher SNR, but it outgrows approximately linear with the minimum value of NT, NR. The capacity is linear with signal to noise ratio in the low signal to noise ratio region there. So both of these cases are going to be superior in terms of capacity to space-time coding, where the data rate is going to grow at best logarithmically with NR with respect to the Shannon capacity theorem we have seen. So the average signal to noise ratio of all the transmit antenna streams can be maintained without increasing the total transmit power relative to a single input, single output system. So spatial multiplexing can be performed without the channel knowledge at the transmitter. So there are two classes of MIMO technique. One is a open loop MIMO and the other one is going to be a closed loop MIMO. So open loop MIMO is your spatial multiplexing without any channel feedback. That means that once your transmitter is ready, your transmitter will assume that the receiver will know the state of the channel based on your pilot symbol or other channel estimation techniques there. So in this case, for spatial multiplexing, it is going to suppress the interference that is going to result from the NT streams being received by each of the NR antennas there. So next we are going to see a closed loop MIMO. So closed loop MIMO is nothing but a spatial multiplexing with channel feedback. So with channel feedback means the potential gain which is going to be from the transmitter channel knowledge is going to be significant in spatial multiplexing system. So when I'm going to use the channel feedback, we are going to use a singular value decomposition which shows that the potential gain of the closed loop spatial multiplexing methods. So our optimum method. So the optimum method is, here we are going to find out what is going to be the maximum likelihood that the signal will not have more signal to noise ratio there. So we'll try all the combinations of your S1 and S2. So here we are going to have your S0 S1 that is going to be transmitted and the receiver it is going to be received and processed, and we are going to get the output signal S0 cap and S1 cap. So S0 R0, the received signal R0 is equal to S0 into G0 plus S1 into G1. Similarly R1 is equal to S0 G2 plus S1 G3. So now we are going to try all the combinations of your S1 and S2 here, and we are going to find the combinations that minimizes the squared error. So squared error is E0 square because two paths it has taken, so it is E naught square plus E1 square, two slots. That is equivalent to R naught minus S naught cap G naught minus S1 cap G1 square plus R1 minus S naught cap G2 minus S1 cap G3 the whole square. So it is going to completely increase with higher order modulation. Next is we are going to see here MIMO techniques, that is multi-input, multi-output. So we are going to have multiple receiver antennas there. So multiple input and multiple input is going to be based on both transmit and receive diversity. It is also known as your space-time coding method there. So we are going to have empty transmission antennas, and MR is going to be the number of receive antennas. So total number of branches is going to be MT cos MR, because each antenna will transmit to all the receive antennas. So in that case, the number of antennas is going to be taken as MR into MT. The transmitter and the receiver processing is going to be performed over the space antennas and time, the successive symbols. So the MIMO or your STC. So here we are going to have for us in your mobile station, it is very difficult to add more number of antennas in the mobile unit there. So in that case, what we do is we go for the diversity in the downlink. That is, from the base station to the mobile station, it can be achieved by using a multiple input, single output there. So when from the base station to mobile station, my mobile, only one mobile I need to receive that signal. So it is multi-input, single output system. That means MR is equal to 1. Next is in the uplink from mobile station to base station, the diversity is going to be achieved by conventional diversity, that is single input, multi output. So here all the diversity cost is going to be moved to the base station there. So when I'm going to use my 3G and your 4G mobile communication system, it is going to employ the MIMO concept in the standard there. So the types of MIMO what we have is, we have two types of space-time coding. One is a space-time block coding, and the other one is space-time trellis coding there. So your space-time block coding is going to be similar to your space-time trellis coding, which can provide you better performance there. So generally in your mobile we'll be using your space-time block coding methods. So space-time block codes. So space-time block codes are nothing but there are going to be mainly few major types. One is transmit diversity. So transmit diversity, what is the main purpose of transmit diversity is to increase the diversity gain. Spatial multiplexing is to increase the data rate. Eigensteering is nothing but the main goal is both to increase the diversity gain as well as to increase the data rate there. So in that case, when I'm going to go for eigensteering, I require the knowledge of the channel at the transmitter side. So mix of the above is going to be in the research still. So transmit diversity, spatial multiplexing, and your simple versions of an eigensteering are going to be used in 3G and your 4G standards there. So while in 3G standards we are going to go for MIMO, which was an enhancement, but in 4G MIMO itself is the main concept there. So in eigensteering, eigenvalue steering, we are going to assume a MIMO system there. So when I'm going to have a MIMO system, you are going to assume that empty branches at the transmit side and MR receive antennas I'm going to have, and the number of branches is going to be MT into MR there. So H11 HMT into MR. So if I write it in the matrix form, I can write as Y12 YMR, the received signal is equal to H11. So for the first antenna itself will be in H11, H12 till H1MT system cell. Next is HMR1 to HMTMR into X1 to X of MT plus N1 to N of MR. So the eigenvalue steering, when I'm going to use MT is equal to 2 and MR is equal to 4. So it is nothing but the number of receive antennas is 4 and MT number of transmit antennas is 2. So X1 2. So X12 is H11 H12 H21. So this is the matrix. So I can write as Y is equal to Hx into Hx plus N. So here the any matrix H can be represented by a singular value decomposition as H is equal to U summation V power H. So here U is the unitary matrix, that is nothing but given by MR by MR, and V is MT by MT. It is a unitary matrix. So summation is nothing but MR by MT, a diagonal matrix element sigma I. So eigenvalue steering is we are going to use your transmit precoding and receiver shaping. So before the transmitting, we are going to precode the symbols and then we are going to transmit it. At the receiver, we are going to do the receiver shaping there. So your modulated symbol stream is going to be x cap. That is what we have received it. That is nothing but x is equal to v into x cap. So we are going to get at the output your x, the symbol. Then this x symbol is going to be given to the channel y is equal to hx plus n. So where the output is going to be the received signal y. This received signal is going to be again sent to the modulator. That is nothing but y cap is equal to v per h into y. So output will be y cap. So I can write as y cap is equal to unitary matrix, that is Hermitian unitary matrix u per h into hx plus n. N is hx plus n is in the channel y. So if I am going to have h into your hx is nothing but h is nothing but u sigma v power h x plus n. So u power h into u sigma v power h into v, x is nothing but v x cap. So if I am going to multiply it, it is u power h into u summation v power h into v x cap plus u power h into n. So this first signal I can write it as u power h unitary matrix Hermitian into unitary is nothing but 1. Similarly v power h into v is nothing but 1. So this signal is going to be summation x cap plus your noise signal n cap. So this is your transmitted signal. These are going to be the gain there, and we are going to have the noise signal to be your N1. So your eigenvalue steering is going to be, we are going to create R parts between the transmitter and the receiver without any cross interference. So the channel state information must be known to both at the transmitter side and the receiver side. So the value of the rank is rank of the matrix H. That rank should be less than or equal to minimum value of MT, MR. So here in this case, we cannot assume that all the paths will have good signal to noise ratio, and the data rate can be increased by a factor of R. Next is we are going to see how to choose between your diversity, interference suppression and your spatial multiplexing. So in your MIMO diversity techniques, we are going to provide diversity gain, and this diversity gain mainly it is going to be improve the reliability of the system. So similarly in your MIMO systems, you are going to go for spatial multiplexing to increase the data rate. So which is going to provide a degree of freedom or multiplexing gain, and it is mainly used for increasing the data rate of the system. So your diversity is going to provide the robustness to fades and interference suppression there. So in this case, I am going to go for diversity techniques. The fading of the signal is going to be reduced and the interference is going to be suppressed. So we say that it is going to be robustness to interference there. So basically when I go for diversity, I am going to increase the value of the signal and reduce the interference noise. So here spatial multiplexing, we are going to have parallel data streams to be present, but it is not necessary to increase the per string signal to noise ratio there. So I can have any number, but in that case it is not necessary for me to increase the signal to noise ratio there. Next is the interference suppression. So interference suppression is going to be impractical in your cellular system, and it is going to be of a question there. Next is a diversity multiplexing trade-off. So diversity multiplexing is it is going to stipulate that both diversity gain and the multiplexing gain can be achieved in a multiple antennas channel, but there is a fundamental trade-off between how much of the gain can be achieved. So we say that there is going to be a trade-off between diversity gain and multiplexing gain. So from this what we can conclude is all the spatial degrees of the freedom should be used for multiplexing and none for spatial diversity. So here there is going to be no trade-off there. So the higher signal to noise ratio values are going to have transmit diversity, which is going to outperform the spatial multiplexing. So spatial multiplexing, even if it does worse, it is not worse than that no transmit diversity, because in spatial multiplexing there are so many errors are made on the weakest stream. If the signal is weak, then there are going to be so many errors that is going to occur in spatial multiplexing there. So here in a model wireless system, that is like LTE, we have many forms of diversity like time and frequency diversity, which is going to exploit the coding and interleaving procedure, retransmission, and your OFDMA and your adaptive modulation. So here this is the graph which is going to show between the diversity and multiplexing trade-off for a narrow band channel and a wide band channel. So here we are not going to take any other form of diversity, only a maximum ratio combining Almaty method and VBLAST method there. Thank you.